A Promethean individual is someone who uses their rebellious nature and extraordinary gifts to seek to outdo the normal standards of society in search for glory and control of those around them. The first Promethean figure I will be investigating is Klaus Mikaelson, one of the main characters in the originals, a show about the first original family of vampires. The second Promethean figure I will be investigating is Damon Salvatore from The Vampire Diaries, a show about two vampire brothers and their life together battling their demons. I will be discussing how similar Klaus and Damon are and how the two of them suffer from their strength. They both seek love and approval from those around them and constantly have family and friends getting them out of trouble and fighting for them whenever possible. However, despite their undeniable similarities, each choice they make leads to their ultimate happiness or ultimate demise. Klaus and Damon have very similar personalities and outlooks on the world. By looking at their usage of their superhuman abilities to control others, unpredictability and rebellious natures, and how they both suffer from their gifts, I will be able to explore their choices throughout their lives and how those choices bring similar beings to different endings. P.S. I apologize for all the spoilers that will be happening in this video. The Originals explains the makings of the vampire species. It follows the storyline of 3 of the 6 Mikaelson siblings. Klaus is one of those 3. He and his siblings were the first of their kind, cursed by their mother to have eternal life and bloodlust as vampires. Klaus is not only cursed as a vampire, but as a wolf, which is called a hybrid. He was the first hybrid ever, and he was the strongest of them all. He will do anything and everything to gain power, control, and respect from vampires, witches, and wolves alike. Klaus severely suffers from paranoia, which causes him to do things rashly and push his siblings away, who would do anything and everything to keep his trust and stand by him through it all. Basically, he allowed his strength, power, and the pain of his abusive father to fuel everything he does throughout the show, and in the past, that led to the ultimate climax of his life. Klaus is the ultimate rebellious type, with quite the evil streak. He enjoys the kill, but in reality, through every action, is searching for the love and affection of his family. Klaus is a very old, very powerful, and extremely persuasive individual. When he flashes that famous grin and speaks with his irresistible accent, it almost makes his not-so-popular characteristics seem irrelevant. He is pretty much the poster child for Promethean figures. His most obvious trait is that he's an original vampire and a werewolf, aka he's a hybrid, and he will live forever. He struggles from his status as the bastard son because he was born to another father from a wolf clan. He does everything in his power to make sure his siblings still see him as his true brother.
Your aim is improving. Next time.
You encourage him, Elijah? But he grows more pathetic every day.
I'm not pathetic.
Do not talk back to me. You're not man enough to hold this weapon. If you can't hunt, you're nothing but a burden.
I'm sorry.
It's a shame we can't feed on sad-eyed apologies. It's your one and only skill.
Father, stop!
Stay back, or you'll be next. The boy needs to be made strong.
Klaus is notorious with his family and vampires all over the world for being rebellious and unpredictable. Whenever his siblings do something that makes him feel betrayed, or he feels that they are in danger or he's in danger and needs to protect them or himself, he will use a mystical dagger to keep them in a deep sleep for as long as he sees fit. Klaus is constantly in search for control of every situation, whether it's relevant to him or not. His paranoia takes over and causes him to act out of fear of losing his loved ones, which is one of the main excuses he used to explain why he daggers his siblings and acts out of craziness.
You cannot kill him.
You're right. I cannot. But you, dear sister, need a lesson in what you can and cannot take from me.
Whenever someone mentions Klaus's name, it sends chills down the spines of those who know his reputation. While he mostly kills for protection of his family, he also kills for revenge and even for fun. A lot of times he uses threats of painful and agonizing death to persuade people to do what he wants, and he has no problem with following through with this promise.
How long do you think Marcel will stay in power? What if one of you lot were to release me, knowing I would be eternally in your debt? Oh, I would pity those of you who dared to cross me. I can assure you, your ends would be spectacular.
Klaus loves a good fight, and no matter what, is prepared for battle despite the army he has to go against. In this scene, his old friend, Marcel, and his little sister Rebecca were plotting to stab him with a mystical dagger to put him into a deep sleep as revenge for the pain that he caused them by tearing their love apart.
You're gonna sink or swim, you're gonna learn the truth. No matter what, you're gonna learn the truth.
Klaus is in search of control over everyone and everything, which leads to be his not-so-popular trait. At one point, he even wanted to control an army of vampires to fight with him and for him. Klaus is the main antagonist in the first season, but as we come to learn, everything he does is out of good intention. Each flashback shows why he is the way he is. He has many enemies, and his paranoia causes him to make rash decisions that cause conflict throughout the show. He often feels as though he will never truly receive the love and affection from his siblings as they give to each other. This scene is a prime example of how his temper and insecurities cause him to have many enemies and drive away the ones who care for him.
And now my child, my blood, will grow up to call you father.
Is that what this is? You are once again worried that you will be left behind. Has history taught you nothing? We don't abandon you. Nick, you drive us away.
Is that so? What have I done lately, other than cooperate and bow down to you, brother, to make up for daggering you, for the greater good of our plan to reclaim our home? Look the other way, sister, while you repeat the same cycle with Marcel, falling again for a man you shouldn't be with, while he controls the empire that we built, that he took. Now, I make no excuses for past sins, but in the one moment when you two could have chosen to stand by me, to believe in me, and believe my intentions for my own child were pure, you chose to stand against me.
Once his daughter was born, Klaus's mindset shifted from worrying about his own survival to his daughter's survival. Throughout the show, we see him shift from a selfish survivalist, only focused on self-preservation, to someone who has a family to think about and strategically makes the effort to save those he loves no matter the cost. We are finally able to see the little bit of humanity he has left shine through every time he is with his daughter, Hope.
You, love, are the daughter of Klaus Mikaelson. You're going to be the greatest witch the world has ever seen, and nothing will scare you.
I know what you are, you know. Strongest in the world. Strong enough to keep all of the bad things away.
What bad things?
Just bad guys, monsters, people who are mean, selfish, and angry.
Nothing is going to harm my little girl. Nothing will even get close. You're all that matters to me.
Klaus has heightened senses as a vampire, which allows his capacity to love to be stronger than any other Promethean figure. His strength is like no other, and this power leads him to paranoia and enemies and loneliness, despite all the people that would fight for him.
Then what? Hope will always be the daughter of Klaus Mikaelson, the hybrid killer with 1,000 enemies. Don't you get it? It's you. You're the threat. You're so paranoid that you can't see that this wedding can help her. She can come home. The wolves will be on our side.
The wolves cannot be trusted!
In your paranoid mind, nobody can be trusted. Where does it end?
There is no end! Need I remind you I killed my own father in order to protect her?
Klaus's Promethean traits stand out because, while being rebellious and almost monstrous, he has the deepest capacity to love his family. While his actions do not express love outwardly throughout the show, it is obvious that every move he makes and everything he does is out of love, no matter how twisted and cruel the act may be. He's also quite unique because, as a hybrid, he made history being the first vampire to ever have a child. From the moment she was born, his life became about her. After a curse was placed on the Mikaelson family, each sibling did their part to separate and keep from causing each other's demise. Hope, Klaus's daughter, was cursed with dark magic that left her weak and unable to survive the transition into a wolf on the full moon. He recruited an old friend and lover to use her daughters, which were witches, to siphon the dark magic out of her and into him, knowing that he himself would not survive as a homicidal maniac cursed with dark magic. He decided to sacrifice himself for the love of his daughter and his siblings. In the end, after everything he did to fight for survival and the protection of his family, he decided to let go and free his daughter of the worry of the enemies coming for her or burdening her life. Through it all, and until the end, Elijah stood by him, even until their dying breath. The second Promethean figure I will be investigating is Damon Salvatore from The Vampire Diaries, a show about two vampire brothers and their life together battling their demons. Damon is the definition of a lost soul. He tends to place the blame on others and is very persuasive and easily gets what he wants. He also has quite the evil streak, and he likes to use his power, strength, and knowledge to control others to please himself. Damon is a vampire with a knack for murder and painfully ironic sarcasm. He is pretty much the definition of a vengeful and unpredictable Promethean figure. Damon suffers from the heartache he endured hundreds of years ago and still cannot allow himself to develop a real relationship with another woman. He blames his brother Stefan for this heartache, as his first love chose Stefan over him. He battles back and forth with his brother, as Stefan is Damon's constant moral compass, and Damon does not like to be controlled. He works to best his brother in every situation and prove his superiority. Deep down, Damon struggles with himself and accepting his scars. He wants his brother to let loose of his humanity and embrace his vampirism just as he did, so that he can feel less alone and empty in this world. The very first scene we see Damon in makes him seem like a total jerk.
Tell me something, when's the last time you had something stronger than a squirrel?
I know what you're doing, Damon. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, come on. Don't you crave a little? Stop. Let's do it. Together. I saw a couple girls out there. Or let's just cut to the chase. Let's just go straight for Elena. Stop it! Imagine what her blood tastes like. I can't. I said stop! I was impressed. I give it 6. You missed on style, but I was pleasantly surprised. Very good with the whole face thing. It was good.
You know, it's all fun and games, Damon, huh? But wherever you go, people die.
That's a given.
As the story progresses, Damon softened a bit, but still never got rid of his piercing sarcasm and willingness to kill whenever he is provoked. He seeks control of every situation and is very unpredictable at times. Damon will kill just out of spite so that his enemies can feel the pain he did. He constantly feels like he's worthless and will often shut off his humanity to live his days without emotions until someone is able to pull him back. He is envious of his brother's ability to hold on to the bit of humanity he has left and how seemingly easy it is for Stefan to show that side of himself. He feels resentments towards his brother for making him into the monster that he is and forcing him to turn.
I tore them apart. I liked the sounds they made, because I realized they deserved it, like you.
Elena was too good for you.
I used to think that. Yeah. That I had to be better to deserve her love, and she had to be worse to accept mine. I'd lie in the middle of the road, looking up at the stars, having conversations with people like you, trying to convince myself killing them was a bad instinct and that sparing their lives was the right thing to do.
So what'd you do? Did you kill him?
Doesn't matter. The point is, I was conflicted. Right now, in this very, very moment, I am crystal clear. See, Elena thinks I'm a monster. And you know what? She's right.
Damon is one of the main characters of The Vampire Diaries and is crucial to its plotline. The main focus is his constantly evolving relationship with Stefan. He starts off as being an easily hated character who does not seem to care about anything but himself and making his brother's life miserable, even so far as to kill Stefan's longtime best friend Lexi in order to fulfill a plan that would eventually and inevitably fail.
Why? It's part of the plan.
Damon adds a sense of comic relief to the show, and often uses his heartbreak to make others sympathize with him so that they become more easily manipulated. Here is one scene that truly describes how his humor and villainous behavior come together to make one very scary yet undeniably attractive person.
All right, I deserve that. But I just wanted to let you know they caught the culprit. The animal responsible for killing Coach Tanner and all those people.
What are you talking about?
It was a mountain lion, a really big one. It attacked a hunter this morning. It's all over the news. Deadly beast captured. All's well in Mystic Falls.
Why would you cover your tracks?
I've decided to stay a while. And I'm just having way too much fun here with you and Elena.
Can't touch her now.
Well, the vervain keeps me out of her head. Maybe that's not my target. Believe it or not, Stefan, some girls don't need my persuasion. Some girls just can't resist my good looks, my style, and my charm, and my unflinching ability to listen to Taylor Swift. This is John Varvatos, dude. Dick move.
However, throughout the seasons, he loses his spark, but he never loses his rebellious and unpredictable nature. He adds to the overall meaning and plot of the story, making the audience shift emotions along with him throughout the show. Compared to others, Damon is more willing to seek out his humanity, and deep down, he wants it back. He masks the want for love and acceptance with evil actions and an I don't care about anything attitude. He also has the unique characteristic of being able to stop and think of the outcomes and consequences of his actions. However, that doesn't always lead him to making the moral decision. He also feels like he deserves nothing good from this world and often has emotional episodes in which the audience can relate to his feelings right up until the moment he murders someone to distract himself from his own pain. Damon feels like he is so far past redemption that no one will ever truly love him until he meets Elena, which is his first love's doppelganger, who shows him his worth.
I'd rather die right now than spend my last final years remembering how good I had it and how happy I was, because that's who I am, Elena, and I'm not going to change. And there's no apology in the world that encompasses all the reasons that I'm wrong for you.
Fine, but I'm not sorry either. I'm not sorry that I met you. I'm not sorry that knowing you has made me question everything. That in death, you're the one that made me feel most alive. You've been a terrible person. You've made all the wrong choices, and of all the choices that I've made, this will prove to be the worst one, but I am not sorry that I'm in love with you.
Unlike many others, he has a brother that, no matter their differences, always stood by him and fought for him even in the hardest times. He also has the strangest ability, not only that he's able to kill someone with a simple bite to the neck and sucking their blood from their veins, but that he is physically able to turn off his emotions and hide away from every painful thought and feeling he may have.
I got ripped out of hell and thrown into a dead man's body. And do you know what my first thought was when I came to? I need to save those people on the bus. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was. It was my instinct. Where are your instincts, Damon? What does the voice in your head say?
You want me to say what we both already know? Fine. I'm selfish. I'm angry. I'm impatient. And yes, until I met Elena, I wasn't interested in doing the right thing for anybody.
Your brother included.
My brother included.
At the end of the show, Stefan found it within himself, despite all the differences he and Damon had throughout their many years together, to sacrifice himself for Damon. Damon was able to live out his human life with his love, Elena. Despite Damon never really treating his brother the way he was capable of, Stefan still found it in his heart to give himself up for his brother, as the show was based around Stefan and Elena ending up together, the doppelgangers. Their true familial love was shown at the end of everything. So why should we care about these two impossible and fictional storylines? We learn that family is everything. We have to appreciate the family that we have, because if we don't, we could miss out on the happy and fulfilled life we could have with them. We don't have 1,000 years like the Mikaelsons have to mend our bonds and fight for one another, or hundreds of years to be there for our sibling like the Salvatore brothers did to grow their relationship with one another. So we have to take the time we do have and use every second fighting for each other through thick and through thin, and finding in our hearts to love unconditionally. The Mikaelson siblings and Salvatore brothers fought for one another through the centuries, but as mortal beings, our time is limited. And in this time, we have to allow our family into our lives and love them through it all.